Hello students, welcome back to this online lecture series. In previous lecture we have seen need and application of thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is having its application right from space science to our own body, and it is also having importance in many engineering fields. In today's lecture we are going to cover prerequisites for thermodynamics, problem solving technique, and we will discuss on reference books required to study thermodynamics in detail. Starting with prerequisites, dimensions and units. As an engineer, one thing should be very firm at the back of your mind, that any quantity without unit is of no use in engineering. Means dimensions and units are having most importance in engineer's life. In world we are using two systems popularly, that are SI system and English system. In 1960, during 10th General Conference of Weight and Measures, SI system was proposed and accepted by many countries worldwide, but America or United States is the only country which is using both the systems together. Means majority of America is using English system, but very few are getting converted to SI system. Hence, as an engineer, it is very important to know conversion of units from English to SI system and vice versa. In India, we are following SI systems. In SI system, following are the primary units. One thing you should notice over here is, for length, abbreviation used is small m, but for Kelvin, abbreviation used is capital K. So there is one thumb rule that if any unit is named after any person in his honor, like say here unit of temperature is Kelvin, named after Lord Kelvin, hence it should be abbreviated in capital letter K. Okay, and rest other units are abbreviated in small letters, like here meter is abbreviated as small m. Okay, so these are all primary units in SI system. Now derived units. As a mechanical engineer, our life is revolving around these four: force, energy, work and power. Then all these four quantities are having derived units like Newton, Joule and Watt. These all are named after certain person, right? Hence abbreviation you will find are in capital letters. Okay, then in last column I have included basic unit conversion of this derived unit. Okay, why this is very much important? If we are knowing this basic unit, we can generate formula for the quantity. I will take example of force. So force, its unit is Newton, which is derived unit. If we convert that to basic units, I will get kg meter per second square. Now how it is important? If I am not knowing formula to calculate force, but I am knowing units of that force and its conversion in basic units, I can generate formula. Check. Kg stands for mass and meter per second stands for acceleration. So that will be my formula. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration. So that will help in competitive examination. Though this is very basic thing, but it is also applicable in some complex formulae. So these are all derived units. Next, we'll see problem solving techniques. As an engineer, for solving any problem, you should be having certain techniques. So following 6 steps will help you in solving any of the engineering problem. First step is problem statement. When certain problem is assigned to you, try to understand problem statement. What we can do in that? We can brief the problem. Okay, we can take out key information provided in the problem, and very important is we should find out quantities to be calculated. Okay, this should be known prior to start of solution, as we should know which quantities actually we have to find, according to which we can set the path. Okay, after completing these 3 steps, next we'll go to schematic. Okay, in schematic we have to draw the sketch, which is basic representation of this problem. Then we can list relevant information from here, which we have recorded in problem statement, that can be shown in the sketch. Then we can indicate interactions. If any energy interaction or mass interaction is taking place, we can mention that in diagram. That is schematic. Why schematic is important? Because schematic will give us insight of the problem in single view. That is step number 2. Now step number 3, assumption. So in engineering problem, assumptions are very much required. So we have to state the assumption, approximations and missing quantities. Why these are required? These are required to reduce the problem to simplest form. Then in some numericals, constants will not be provided. So we have to assume the value of that constant and solve the numerical. So that assumption should be clearly mentioned. That is step number 3. After completing step 1, step 2, step 3, we can go for step 4, that is physical law. We can apply physical law to that numerical. So basic laws from physics, chemistry are to be applied. Principles can be applied. Why this is required? The ultimate aim is to get the simplest form of the problem. Okay. Next step is 5, properties. So we have to identify property relations. Some data we have to get from data tables. These are empirical values. So from these data tables we can read the properties, and we can determine unknown properties from property relations and property taken from data tables. That is step number 5. Now we can go for calculation, as we are knowing key information. Then we have taken assumptions, we have taken missing data, then we have applied basic laws, principles, and we have reduced the problem to simplest form. Now in this simplest form we can substitute all the data from here, here and here. That will give us unknowns, right? But one care should be taken that units should be properly handled, because we can't sum bananas with apple, right? So units are very much important and should be carefully handled while solving problems in engineering. So we'll try to apply this to simple numericals. So these are numericals we'll try to solve. In first numerical we are having a body of 80 kg mass kept at sea level. So we have to find out weight applied by that body. Okay, and second is body which is having same mass or same body is there, but it is now kept at poles. What will be its mass? These two numericals we have to solve. Now we'll apply our 6 steps to that. First step is problem statement. So problem statement is we have to find out weight of a body whose mass is 80 kg. First condition at sea level and second condition at pole. So we have to take key information. What is that key information? Mass is given as 80 kg. Then condition for first numerical is at sea level we have to find out the value of mass or weight. Okay, and what we have to find out? Yes, weight. So what we have read from that problem statement? Quantity to be calculated, then specific condition if any, and given information. Okay, after this we can go for sketch. So this is my body kept at sea level of mass 80 kg. It is applying some force downward, which is nothing but weight of that body, that is to be calculated. Okay, next comes the assumption. Okay, so to calculate weight we require mass into gravitational acceleration. So this gravitational acceleration is not provided in the numerical. So we can assume that value for sea level gravitational acceleration can be taken as 9.807 meter per second square. Now we can apply our basic laws. Which basic law is required? Newton's second law. What it says? Force is equal to mass into acceleration. As we want to find out weight, it will become weight is equal to mass into gravitational acceleration. Okay, now I will substitute values in that. So it will give us W is equal to mass is 80 kg into 80 kg into gravitational acceleration we have assumed as 9.807 meter per second square. Okay, so combinedly I will get W is equal to 784.56 kg meter per second square. What is this kg meter per second square? That is nothing but Newton. That is my final outcome. Okay, so I have followed all the steps, or fifth step we haven't followed because no any property was required in this numerical. If required we can follow that step also. Then this is first numerical. In second numerical what they have provided? Check. Body is same, so mass is 80 kg, right? Then condition will be different. Now we are at poles. Okay, then same quantity we have to find out, weight of the body. Sketch will remain almost same. There is one body exerting force W, body mass is 80 kg, but that body is now placed at poles. Okay, assumptions will also remain same. Gravitational acceleration we have to assume, but now its value will be 9.832 meter per second square. Okay, now I will apply basic laws, that is Newton's second law. F is equal to ma or W is equal to m into g. I will substitute given data in that. So mass is 80 kg and gravitational acceleration is 9.832 meter per second square, and that will give me final value as 786.56 Newton. Okay, so we have applied our 6 steps and I have got the answer of W. Okay, so that 6 steps will help you in any of the engineering problem. Now one thing you should remember that in calculator sometimes we get answer like 786.5623146896. Okay, so these much digits are there, but can we measure 0.002314689 Newton force? It will be very difficult, no? Hence, approximation is essential. We can approximate this value. We can round up the value up to say 2 digit after decimal, and we can write answer as 786.56 Newton. That is very correct in engineering. Approximations should be used in that case. So we have seen these numericals, numerical 1 and numerical 2, and we have tried to solve that numerical using our 6 steps which we have defined earlier. Now we will discuss regarding reference books. So I will suggest these 2 books. First book is Thermodynamics by an Engineering Approach by Eunice Engel. You can use any of the edition. I am using 9th. Then Engineering Thermodynamics by P.K. Nag. In this Sengel book, illustrations, then different figures are involved, so that is very easy to understand, and language is also very easy. In P.K. Nag book, specifically we will use this for numericals. For solving different numericals, we will use this P.K. Nag book. At the same time, many other books are there. We will use that as and when required. So that's all for today. What we have learnt today: units and dimensions are very important in engineer's life. Then we have seen problem solving techniques. 6 steps are there, that are problem statement, schematic, assumption, basic laws, then properties and calculation. Using these 6 steps we can get answer to any of the engineering problem. In next lecture we will discuss our actual syllabus.